SCORE Northeast Wisconsin and WHBY are pleased to bring you Biz Talk, a chance for you to hear from entrepreneurs and professionals as they share their experiences. From starting to sustaining growth, learn the skills needed for your business to be successful. If you miss anything, you can catch the Biz Talk podcast at score.org/Northeast Wisconsin. And now from the Myron Construction Studio, it's Biz Talk on WHBY.
Good morning and welcome to Biz Talk with SCORE and our series of episodes on the business of sports and recreation. Americans now spend about $1.5 trillion a year on sports and outdoor recreation. Put that in perspective, let's look at what we spend in a few other categories. So $30 billion a year on plays and concerts, $150 billion a year on movies, streaming, and TV, $150 billion a year on reading, and $200 billion a year on culture and heritage. Think about museums or historical sites. And this represents a dramatic historical shift. Median family incomes have grown around 7.5 times over the last 50 years, while spending on sports and outdoor recreation has grown over 50 times. The sports and recreation industry is now larger than more traditional industries such as farming, mining, utilities, among others. This month, we're featuring the experts and entrepreneurs operating in this rapidly growing and changing industry. So welcome to Biz Talk. I'm Terry Pinch, one of the co-hosts, and joining me as co-host is Mary Rhode. Mary, how are you this week?
I am great, Terry. Excited to talk with our guests today.
Yeah, it's a very interesting category, and it kind of shocked me as I saw the numbers. We don't have it on here, but it's actually sports and outdoor recreation is as big as outdoor away from home eating. So all the different things. It's a bigger category that people spend money on. It's a really interesting thing. Plus, there's an incredible number of businesses in the area. And this week, we get to talk to somebody who's starting a really unique and new business. And joining us this week is Stephanie Chatt from the Happy Living Collection. Stephanie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Okay. So, Stephanie, to get started, tell us about you. Where did you come from? How did you get to the point of starting this business?
Thank you. So I grew up in Illinois, but I spent my summers out in Wisconsin with my family fishing. And that's really where this business started. It's about encouraging families to get out there and fish. And I was working for a customer service, for a company for 10 years. I gave them almost a decade of my time, and I was laid off about a week before Christmas of 2025. And that's kind of how Happy Living Collection was born. I saw a bunch of tackle bags laying around my house, boring colors, masculine. And I thought, why not start something for the women out there? Start something with more pattern selection and something that was just pretty for women to take out on the water with them and carry their tackle.
So you're starting with the tackle bags. What else are you thinking about for the future?
So the women's tackle bag is our first line, but this is about a brand. This is about a lifestyle brand. It's about encouraging others to get out in nature, make memories with their family, get kids out on the water. You know, this is about a lifestyle brand. So we are starting with the women's tackle bag, but we also have a prototype for a children's bag that will be here in a few weeks as well. So that's kind of to get the kids out there as well.
Okay. So when you decided to start this business, how did you see tackle bag and decide to do it? How did you even start to think about what do you do next and how do you build the business?
So we started from the very beginning and we had no idea, but that is the whole thing. You can't really wait. You have to start somewhere. So we had the idea. I went to the store. I got some fabric. I started sewing these prototypes. I knew being a woman and being out on the water, your hair gets a little messed up. So I thought, why not put a mirror on the interior of the bag? Let's put a shoulder strap on it. Let's put a drink holder on the side. We need space to carry, sunscreen or snacks for the kids, whatnot. So we kind of wanted to make it, what would we want to bring out? And so we started with that, and then we started looking for manufacturers, and we tried to make them in America, which we soon realized was very expensive.
So when you made you actually did the prototypes yourself in your home, correct?
Yes. We did everything ourselves. We sewed them. The dimensions were completely off, it was not a waterproof material, but we had the vision. We knew we wanted polka dots and florals, and we wanted fun things to choose from. So we started with that. And that's when we realized, well, we want our kids to get out on the water too more. We felt everything was just kind of on the more masculine side, more grays and browns and blacks and things like that. So that's when the kids bag was born as well, which has a worm bobber pattern on the outside. And then we have the whiteboard feature on the interior, because we all know kids get bored during fishing when they're waiting for a fish to bite. So we kind of wanted to incorporate a game with their bag.
So when you were doing that design, what made you believe that there was a market that you could sell this into?
So we started with social media. I wanted to get opinions from the female anglers out there. There's so many big ones out there. And so we wanted to partner with people that knew the industry and get feedback from them. And so that's where we started. We started with our Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok. We just started putting videos out there and prototypes and just connecting with people. And the feedback was great. They were like all for it. A lot of things for women out there are kind of, pink or whatnot. And this gives you more selection. And it's just, when you go to the fishing stores, I don't see it on the shelf. And so I said, why can't we have it out there, for the women out there?
And so did that feedback actually feed into the designs too? Were there some information people were giving you?
They definitely did. Yes. We had voting, what pattern could you see yourself? Everyone loved the purple bag. There's not a lot of purple tackle out there right now. So that is one of our first larger orders. We'll have the purple fish pattern and a blue floral. That's what we're starting with. That was kind of the beginning choices. And then we had some giveaways to get people excited and just a lot of feedback. There's a lot of amazing female communities out there that want to get women out on the water and support women fishing. And so we kind of went in that direction, getting feedback that way and just getting into all of those groups.
How did you find those groups?
We were on Facebook and we would just search. I was just becoming friends with all of the female anglers out there and just trying to get our name out there as much as possible. We did try a Kickstarter that we were trying to raise the money to fund everything. We were trying to collect emails. We did collect a few hundred emails just to get product updates out there. And what we quickly learned is, okay, at this point now we need the product. So we really had to get the manufacturing going. So you really have to have patience because that just takes time, a lot of time, just waiting for the products and everything, which we are currently going to be getting those shipped to us in the next couple weeks.
So Stephanie, as a fellow female who loves the outdoors and loves to be out in nature, whether on the water or in the woods, I can say with the utmost confidence that the female outdoor groups are incredibly supportive. I myself am a member of a few, and it's a very tight-knit group, and we love to just talk about where our next adventure is going to be, right? But also we talk a lot about what we're wearing, what we are taking with us, how practical it is. And so I really, truly love the thought that you put into your product and thinking through, not only the female angler, but the female angler that's also a mom, right? And all those different components and things that you have to have with you. Thinking back to those conversations you had with some of those networking groups, what was something maybe that stood out to you as a word of advice that they shared with you?
That is just also true. Like there was this one women fishing group. They took us in like under their wing and were just so great to us. They were just sharing the word. They were spreading the word. They just said, Don't Give Up. Their name was actually Terry with Women in Fishing, and she was one of the beginning, female anglers out there when the pink fishing rod had just really taken off. And she just said at that time, men were kind of maybe looking at her a little side-eyed, like, but she just kept going. She didn't give up. She believed in the idea, and women have a space out there, fishing, and it's become bigger, and bigger. So they were just very, positive and open to us, and we really can't thank all of those people enough. So
as you work with those groups, how do you think about that for the future of your business? You've found a series of groups where people talk about fishing and their hobbies and how they prepare and manage it. So did that feed into your plan for how you market this business going forward?
Definitely. I feel like there's a lot of trial and error. You make a prototype, you have to change it. Sometimes you lose your vision, or because it's not just a straight line, there's a lot of changes, and then you have to have patience waiting for things. But you have to remember why you're doing this. And we're doing this for the women and the kids that want to get out there. And it's for the men too. Like, men want to get their wives and daughters and mothers out on the water. This will be the Christmas gift you order for them to get them out there. These bags, that's where our tagline came from, hooked in style. We're bringing style out on the water, and we just want more options for the women out there.
Okay. So as you start to put together your marketing plan, I know you've been working on a website. How is that going, and when are you going to have that ready to go?
So the website will be up any day now. We are just getting it perfect for everyone to start ordering on there. We will have pre-orders open, and then we met with a manufacturer actually locally in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. We tried to order the bags through that manufacturer, but we've come to realize it's just too expensive. So we are waiting for our shipment overseas, which we have an amazing manufacturer over in China. He has just been a huge blessing to us. He communicates. He's always sending pictures of the factory where they're sewing the bags, and just dealing with shipping prices and everything. He's just really been great. We've gotten lucky with that part of everything.
So who did the website for you?
So my mom Diane, who lives out in Wisconsin, me and her just got on a Zoom conference one day, and we literally went through every single button on the Wix website. We started with Wix, and, we were just making mistakes and errors, but that was what we had to do. This is all the first time for us starting something like this. So we had the vision, waiting for the product, and we just got the website up. And then the website was basically in the beginning just to collect emails, because we were trying to send emails with product updates and product launches and things like that. So that was like strictly to collect emails, but now we want to have it live for the pre-orders so everyone can start ordering these bags.
Okay. Well, we've reached the spot where we're going to take our first break. You're listening to Biz Talk on WHBY, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Biz Talk with Score here on WHBY. My name is Mary Rhode, joined by my co-host Terry Pinch. And before we get back to our conversation with Stephanie Chatt from Happy Living Collection, I want to tell you a little bit more about Score Northeast Wisconsin. Score Northeast Wisconsin serves a 29-county area, primarily in Northeast Wisconsin. We have over 30 volunteers, each an expert in their field, offering entrepreneurs no-cost and confidential mentoring. Those areas of expertise include IT, social media, marketing, cash flow, accounting, strategic planning, workflow, retail, best practices, and many, many others. In order to register for a no-cost confidential mentoring session and or learn more about Score Northeast Wisconsin, we encourage you to visit our website at score.org. .wi/northeast-Wisconsin. You can learn more about how the SCORE chapter can assist you with starting and or growing your business. And you can complete an application for a mentoring session. Simply complete the online form and submit it to SCORE. Within a few days, a SCORE mentor will be contacting you to set up a meeting. Remember, SCORE is no cost and offers experts who can offer assistance in many different areas. To get started, visit our website at score.org/WI/Northeast-Wisconsin. To support small business people, SCORE Northeast Wisconsin is always looking for new mentors. If you have experience that you'd like to share with others, we'd love to talk to you. We welcome volunteers with experience in all aspects of business. Small business owners need your help, and your experience can make a real difference to their success. Go to score.org/WI/Northeast-Wisconsin, click on the volunteer button and fill out the short application. We'll get back to you to explain more. And finally, this reminder about the Biz Talk with SCORE podcast. The Biz Talk with SCORE podcast brings the same real-world information and insights from experienced entrepreneurs and business leaders, just like Biz Talk with SCORE on WHBY. The best part is the podcast is available whenever you are. So listen and subscribe. The Biz Talk with SCORE podcast is available on most podcatchers and podcast apps. So now we're going to get back to our discussion with Stephanie. So Stephanie, you as a small business owner, and Terry and I both have talked to so many small business owners, and they love certain aspects of their business, and they also don't love certain aspects of their business. And funny enough, sometimes that conversation usually is around the bookkeeping or legal side or anything like that. If they can be in their store or in their business, talking to customers, seeing those smiling faces, that makes it all worth it. But some of that other stuff has to get done too. So let's talk a little bit as a brand new business owner, how you're kind of managing and navigating some of the more administrative side of being a small business owner. So we touched a little bit on marketing, in the first segment, but let's talk kind of nitty gritty here, the bookkeeping, the insurance side, and some of the legal side with that comes with being a new business owner.
Yeah, so that definitely is not as glamorous as some of the other parts to running the business, but it has to be done. And that is why I really have to give credit to my mom, Diane. She really handles the back end of a lot of it, the bookkeeping. She was setting up meetings with manufacturers overseas. We got the LLC. She found a good mentor to kind of go over the legal stuff with us. So I really do have to hand it to her for handling kind of the finances, setting up payments through Alibaba to make the order with China. She's learning all of that as she goes. So I really do have to hand that to her. She's very good at organizing the back end of things. And so she kind of handles that. And then I was kind of more on the social media and designing the actual bag. So we really made a good team because we kind of held our own in those areas.
Yeah, certainly not something that should be navigated alone. So it's great to hear that you have an awesome partner. And I mean, honestly, I'm sure you could admit you both are really learning as you go.
Definitely. Yeah. The financial part of it all, that's like I said, we tried to do that Kickstarter and raise the $25,000 to fund the starting of a company. We did get Project We Love on the Kickstarter. I don't know how familiar you are with that crowdfunding platform, but we did raise about $12,000. But with Kickstarter, it's an all or nothing platform. So if you say you raise the $12K of the $25K, you don't get that money. So we kind of had to scratch that idea and start over and say, okay, well, we have to fund this ourselves. We may not be able to order 5,000 tackle bags right now, but we have to start somewhere. So now we're, kind of taking baby steps and getting that and waiting for the shipping overseas. So she kind of handled all of that.
So as you navigated all of these many steps, and certainly some of them being more complicated than others with the overseas aspect, was there ever I'll call it a low point or maybe a second guess point that you and your mom kind of looked at each other like, okay, what are we doing here? and how did you guys push through that?
Definitely. We really had our heart set on getting the tackle bags made in America. We just thought that would be quicker. It's right here. We're not dealing with shipping costs. We know that's going to make the price of the bag go up a lot. So once we wasted several months trying to make that happen here in the States, and we realized we couldn't sell a bag for $90 a tackle bag. We want people to be able to afford these bags. We want people to be able to buy them for their kids and whatnot. So we had to really reevaluate at that point and say, well, now, so Diane set up meetings overseas to meet with manufacturers, and we had to come back to reality and realize, okay, now we're going to be waiting several months to get these tackle bags. So that was a lot. And then also when we didn't fund our Kickstarter, that really hurt because you believe in something 100% and maybe it just didn't come across that way. It didn't, go the way you wanted. So you have to and then you just reevaluate and you pivot and you do something else. It's not ever a straight line. It's a lot of just changes, and you just really can't give up, and you just keep going. So,
well, thank goodness you did, because you certainly have a beautiful product that you're ready to launch to market. So with that, we are at the point of taking our next break. You are listening to Biz Talk with Score on WHBY.
Welcome back. You're listening to Stephanie Chatt from Happy Living Collection today. And your Biz Talk hosts this week are myself, Terry Pinch, and Mary Rhode, and we're really glad you joined us. Before we get back to Stephanie, I do want to mention the educational activities that are available from SCORE. There's been some phenomenal changes over the last 2 months, and the whole type of offerings has grown pretty dramatically. So if you go to score.org/WI/Northeast-Wisconsin, you'll see on that page a learning tab. You click on the learning tab, and now it brings up a whole menu of different types of learning. And there's a combination of paid, sponsored, and free. And so SCORE is putting a lot of effort into raising money from a more diverse source of people, so you don't have to rely on government funding as much. And so one of the ways we do that is through education. So we have a number of courses that are now sponsored by large corporations. I know there's one from H&R Block, another from Visa, and they help us through donations to put those courses on, and most of those are free. There's another series of courses that we charge small fees, $10, $15, $20 for, that often feature a nationally known presenter. And then there's the regular chapter developed courses, webinars that are free. But there's literally thousands out there that you can go and look at. And some are upcoming live events, so you can participate online. Others are recordings of those live events. But there's things from artificial intelligence to bookkeeping to marketing and sales to how to exit your business. There's incredible courses. There's course series where you might have 8 or 9 courses on how to start up a business, for example. But there's a lot there. So again, go to score.org/WI/Northeast-Wisconsin and click on the Learning tab. And there's a lot of opportunity out there to help you develop your business. So with that, we're going to turn back to Stephanie and Happy Living Collection. And Stephanie, let's go back to the manufacturing a little bit, because you've done an awful lot in this area, and quite frankly, in a year, learned what a lot of people spend the first several years of having a company learning. But when you first started to make your prototypes, how did you even find manufacturers that you could go and talk to in the U.S. first?
So Diane really was a big part of that. She was calling just local shops, local manufacturers, and just seeing if they would take our project on. We were turned down by many of them. They didn't have time for us. They didn't have enough staff to sew the bags. And also they wanted to charge an arm and a leg for one prototype. I think we were getting estimates for one prototype, one tackle bag was around $200 just for one. So realistically, it was very difficult. And she did end up finding one that agreed to work with us and out of Wisconsin. And so we just started there. And again, I was bringing my little sewn bags that, were not waterproof, just completely wrong dimensions, but they were patient with us and they did it. It did take about a month just to get that first prototype though, and it came out too large. It was about double the size. The mirror was kind of falling off the zippers. It was very not what we had. We want quality. We want this to be a quality bag that can hopefully last someone a lifetime, So we found him though, and then we went through that process. One bag was too big. We ended up getting, after a few months, our 2 purple prototypes. And we did give those away in a giveaway. And we just realized we just can't sell a bag that high. So we had no choice but to go overseas.
So, and you mentioned that being one of the points where it was a little difficult because you had wanted to make a made in U.S. product. So your mom has already been calling around to figure out how to get American manufacturers. How did she figure out how to go through the task of finding a manufacturer and importing the product?
So I know she went through Alibaba. We were getting manufacturers reaching out to us via social media. They were in the space overseas that they could create a bag for us. We met with many on WhatsApp, and we just set up meetings. The time zones, of course, are off, so we were just setting up 9 p.m. meetings with people over in China and Vietnam and just sitting down and talking with them. And again, it comes back to that prototype cost. They want a couple hundred for one prototype, and then you're waiting for a month for it to get shipped overseas. And the shipping, since it's not the lightest product, your shipping costs get so high. And so we finally Roy found us through Kickstarter, and he is our manufacturer currently, and he's just great. So we couldn't be happier with him. He sent us 3 prototypes for just the shipping cost. He did not charge us per prototype. So we just paid that shipping cost. He sent them over, and we confirmed that we were happy with the way the tackle bag was built. We had to just check everything. And then he is now going to send us our largest shipment in the next couple of weeks.
And so how do you work with him to ensure he understands what your quality expectations are and what the turnaround time is?
So that's a lot because we're just talking through WhatsApp. And so he's sending us photos. We're sending him dimensions. He's coming back with a photo or a dimension. And we're really just getting everything done through WhatsApp. And so he had the dimensions down, the zippers, the quality, the mirror, everything looked absolutely perfect. He's sending videos of them sewing over there. We got really lucky with that. We have the prototypes with us, and they really look amazing. The mirror is so nice. The zippers, there's storage. There's a cup holder on the side, the padded shoulder strap. It's very high quality, and it's just a nice bag. And the material is waterproof. The patterns are really pretty. And so he is going to be doing our women's bag and our children's bag.
So as you look at what you learned about getting a product produced for you by a contract manufacturer, and you think to where you might go next with other products, how do you feel about having to go through this again for different products?
So we do realize it will be a slower process. If we can find manufacturers here in the States that can keep costs lower and keep shipping, maybe a little quicker over here, we are completely open to that. But for now, we are going to be placing, we placed the biggest order we possibly can fund at this time, and we're going to get that. We plan on selling the bags quickly and then putting that back into buying more bags overseas for now and doing it that way. We see our tackle bags for now we're building the brand. We want them to be on our website, but I see them in mom and pop tackle shops. I want them to be able to be accessed to everyone, and we see them there. But yeah, we do see them on, Amazon and in retail shops eventually as well.
So earlier in the program today, Stephanie, you teased that new potential product being the kids tackle bag, which is really, really exciting. Having a son who I think he would live in a boat on the water and fish bluegill and perch till he couldn't anymore. So really excited to see those designs and how creative you have been with them. But gosh, it gets me wondering, and my curiosity is killing me. What are some of those other products that maybe you're dreaming about making someday, or you've experienced yourself or someone kind of a need in that female angler industry of like, gosh, it'd be great to have something that looks like this or that does this. I have to think that you have a list of ideas somewhere.
Yes, we definitely do. We know we needed to start somewhere. So we got specific, we're going to do this for the women, starting off with our women's tackle bag. We have the kids bag coming in. We plan on doing rod holders. We've looked at, kayak covers, boat covers. We want to stay in that area. But we definitely plan on expanding. We would like, shirts, hats, things like that. We want to be in the boutiques on the lakeside, by the ocean. We have our next bag coming out is also very exciting. It's, more towards the Floridian Hawaiian theme. So that is exciting. And we just plan on, before we started this, my brother was making playing cards with lakefish on them. It was like bluegill, northern pike, perch. And so that fishing is just in our blood. We want to do something that interests us. We want to get more people interested and out on the water. And we're just trying to encourage more families to make those memories, because that was some of the best parts of our childhood.
And how do your children feel about your tackle bags?
They have watched me start this from the very beginning. So I just took out my sewing machine from Temu and I started sewing with some fabric, and then they see me talking to manufacturers overseas and getting this product together and running the social medias and the marketing and the website and doing things like this. And so I think it's just so important for them to see that, because I always want the youth to know, if you have an idea, believe in yourself and put it out there. And you may fail many times, but you never know, and it's worth trying.
Okay. So as you look at where you go next, selling this first set of products and then the tackle bags and then ordering some more, are you looking at and thinking about trying another maybe crowdsource funding or going to a bank or credit union? What are you thinking about to help expand for the future?
I think about that a lot. We may do another crowdfunding source. It was a lot to do that, and that really took a lot out of us when it didn't happen. So I think about that. We might do a lower goal, and now we will actually have the product, because at the time we didn't actually have the product. So that was hard to kind of get through to people. So we do think about that. We've looked at grants and things, but if we keep ordering bags and selling them, we can keep snowballing it into a larger quantity of bags, which we do see happening. So, we are discussing that, but at this time we really are just ordering the bags on ourselves and getting them out there to the people as quickly as possible.
So do you see it as more of a seasonal business initially until you build up the volume?
So for now, once we sell out of these bags, there will be a delay, but we do plan on having a large order also for the fishing shows. We want to be in the fishing expos by spring. So we do plan on having some very large orders for that. We see them in farmers markets. We see them being sold where we can. But for now, yes, we do have to order as we go with that financial side of things. We are funding it all on our own.
And as you look at the various markets and events, are you finding the right ones that you think fit well with the brand? Or
I do. I feel like the Midwest has so many options. Illinois and Wisconsin, we have that Muskie show in the spring, and we have some, there's one in December we would love for Christmas time to be selling the tackle bags. But I feel like we do have a lot of great events we can get the bags out. And then when you're selling straight to consumer, you're not worrying about those shipping fees, which would really help out a lot.
Yeah. So, as you look at where else you go, have you thought about things like Amazon and Etsy as well, or are they not in your line of sight for now?
Oh, definitely. We're not ruling anything out. We're discussing both. We definitely want to be on Amazon. We want people to be able to order on Amazon. We're open to Etsy as well. But at this time we are pushing that brand on the website and then hopefully booking a fishing show. But we definitely do see Amazon and Etsy in the future.
All right. So just to step back a little bit on some of the designs, how do you think about taking what you learned with the tackle bags and starting to go after those different products that you mentioned earlier? How are you going to start to build those designs out?
So after we do this, I think we would actually be able to stay with our same manufacturer because the plastic inserts that go in the tackle bag, that's something that we would have to order overseas as well because it's just the cheapest way to get things. So at this time, we would probably stay in that direction. It's just the timing of it all. It's just you have to have patience in those windows of waiting for more product. But at this time, we are sticking with our same manufacturer for now.
Okay. And so just looking at other designs, anything that you haven't made yet that you really want to make from a design perspective?
I think a kayak bag would be nice. People on the paddle boards, the kayaks, the canoes. I think you need a smaller bag. You can't be, lugging around a large tackle bag, even though this has a shoulder strap and it is convenient. I think something you could maybe more of a fanny pack style with our same patterns, our same hooked in style logo, things like that. Something more convenient and smaller we could design in the future.
Okay. So as you look at what this last 9 months has been like, has it surprised you how much effort it took?
Yes, definitely. It all started with a layoff, which I think a lot of people can feel that. And so that's when you kind of have to reevaluate your life and say, okay, well, where do I go from here? And so I said, I want to do something that interests me. And that's how this all started. And then, but you only get 6 months of layoff in Illinois. So you have to go back to work. So I am working full time. I'm trying to fund this idea. And so just working hard. And, this is now like my part time. I put this as my full time goal for those 6 months and just realizing that manufacturing is going to take a long time. So you have to be patient. And now we're just waiting to get these tackle bags ready to be ordered.
So are you having fun?
Yeah, we are. We are definitely having fun. We're learning a lot. There's been so many roadblocks and things, but this all started with a passion for being on the water, being out with your family with a pole in the water, a worm on the bob, on the bobber, and just catching fish, making memories. That's the whole heart of this. And this is where that brand started. So you can't lose sight of that through it all.
Okay. And so as we come to the close of this segment, what do you think has been the most important lesson in this whole startup for you? What have you learned that you think is of the most value?
So I think the biggest thing I tell someone who has an idea is don't wait until you have everything figured out. Start with the idea, make the prototype, ask people what they think, learn what you don't know, and be open, ask the tough questions, and go from there. But if you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, and one of the reasons we looked at your business and having it as part of these series of shows on outdoor recreation is around the fact that you are a young woman starting up a company in a field where maybe not as many people operate, and it's something that we think a lot of people might be interested in, can learn a lot from what you've gone through on the side of setting things up. But two of the most important traits to have is, I'll call it stubbornness, but it's stick with itness. Mm-hmm. You got to be able to stick with it through the problems. And the second one is networking and talking to people and learning from people. And you and your mother have done that and done that very well. So that's very good to see. And I hope a lot of people can learn from that. We will be back for our final segment after these messages. You're listening to Biz Talk from SCORE on WHBY.
Welcome back to Biz Talk with SCORE here on WHBY. And before we wrap up our fascinating conversation with Stephanie Chatt with the Happy Living Collection, I'd like to take just a moment here to thank our sponsors for their generous support of Biz Talk. Haling & Associates helps small businesses and individuals not just prepare tax returns, but plan for the future. Haling & Associates, personal connection, positive results. Thank you to Johnson Financial Group. Wherever you are in life or the life of your business, Johnson Financial Group works to match the banking and wealth services needed to help you complete your mission. Thank you to the Business News for promoting our program in the biweekly business newspaper serving Northeast Wisconsin with the latest business news and topics for the region. We're grateful to Community First Credit Union for their support of Biz Talk. At its core, Community First Credit Union is a community of member owners where people work together to improve their financial well-being and help one another. Thank you to the New North, the Regional Marketing and Economic Development Corporation, who is an active supporter of SCORE. The New North facilitates economic growth and helps people in this region live their best lives. And finally, thank you to Baird. Since 1919, Baird has guided families through investment, trust, estate, and tax planning advice. So no matter what the future brings, you can be confident you're ready because your family is Baird's focus. So Stephanie, as we look to close out the show today, and hopefully people have heard everything that you have shared, and not only your journey, but certainly the exciting products that are soon to come, that will hopefully hit both their social media feed, and hopefully hit their wallet too, spending a little money with you and buying these amazing products. Let's tell people how they can find you, how they can get a hold of these beautiful Happy Living Collection products.
So you can definitely follow us on social media. We have a Facebook page, an Instagram, a TikTok, and a LinkedIn that's all Happy Living Collection. We'll be sharing new products, updates, launches, and information about the tackle bags as we go. And then, of course, our pre-orders are opening on www.happylivingcollection.com. You will be able to order directly off of the website. And then again, please follow us on social media so you can see when we open up other platforms to sell our tackle bags and launch new products.
Well, and certainly I'm sure that they'll be able to see too through your social media where they can see you next. You mentioned previously about hopefully attending some of those fishing shows and fishing expos that so many people attend each year.
Yes, we definitely cannot wait for that. We hope to see everyone's faces out there and sell directly to the people out there. And it'll be nice to see a nice women's stand, Happy Living Collection at these fishing shows, catering to the women and kids out there that want to be out on the water.
Absolutely. So, the last minute and a half here or so of the show, we were talking in between commercial breaks about the growing industry of female anglers, female outdoors people. As an avid hunter myself, I've personally experienced that growth of networking groups and opportunities to go out and hunt or fish or be outdoors with other fellow women who share that same passion. And that is I just feel like your product, your company is hitting the market at such a crucial and really kind of that upward swing. Just personal anecdote, I started hunting probably about 8 or 9 years ago and felt like I was alone. I was wearing my husband's jacket and, pants that were 2 sizes too big. And now here I am 8 years later, and there's beautiful women's hunting apparel that exists that I'm so proud to wear. But most importantly, I'm comfortable while I'm doing this hobby that I'm so passionate about. And so, I would just love to hear from your perspective that growth that you've seen in this female outdoor industry and how crucially important that is to the success of your product.
I mean, it's just amazing. You can't go on social media now without seeing those female anglers that are being sponsored to shed light on. They can do it too. They're in the tournaments out there catching bigger fish than the guys now, So this one is definitely for the ladies that love being out on the water. Let's get our daughters out there. Let's get our family out there. That's what we're encouraging everyone to do. I get to work with my mom through this journey, so I feel very lucky. And Happy Living Collection started at my kitchen table sewing the first prototype, and now we're waiting for our largest order overseas. So it's been such a journey, and I'm so excited to get these in the hands of women out there and get hooked in style.
Well, best of luck to you, Stephanie. Thank you so much again for joining us. And thanks to everyone for spending a little bit of your Saturday morning here with us. And you are listening to Biz Talk with Score on WHBY, and we will see you next Saturday.